Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. We're back with an in-game analysis of the Premier League encounter between Klopp's Liverpool and Lampard's Chelsea. On the day where Liverpool would lift the trophy, they wanted the win to end their Anfield season strong, whilst Chelsea needed a point to secure Champions League football. In the end, Liverpool were extremely clinical, coming away 5-3 winners thanks to goals by Keita, Trent, Wijnaldum, Firmino and Oxlade-Chamberlain, whilst Giroud, Abraham and Pulisic netted for the Blues. Liverpool were clinical, scoring some low XG shots, leading to them overperforming. But what tactics did both managers use? Let's take a look. A quick reminder of the formations chosen by both managers, as you can see on screen now, courtesy of the Onefootball app. Onefootball is a great free app that will give you so much more than just formations. It gives you stats on your favorite teams and players, score updates, and so much more. And recently, it has undergone a redesign to make your life so much easier. It's completely free, and Onefootball has been supporting Football Made Simple for a while now, so it would be great if you downloaded it for free through the link in the description below to support the channel. Let's start with what Chelsea looked to do with the ball. Chelsea would initially look to play out from the back, with Kepa looking to find one of the centre-backs. From there, their centre-backs, when under pressure, were not afraid to go long, knowing they had someone as good in the air as Giroud to target. Mount and Willian would come narrow to look for the knockdown, and this was effective for Chelsea at times. However, early on in the game, Liverpool didn't press that high, allowing Chelsea to come through the first phase. But Liverpool then made it difficult for them to progress through the centre, as shown by Kovacic and Jorginho, who normally dominate the game for them, being lower in the passes completed for the team than usual. This was done by the Liverpool front three going man-to-man with the Chelsea centre-backs in the press. And because they had a 3 vs 2 advantage here, they could push men onto the pivots and still have the safety player. When they did this, Chelsea's wingers would look to come narrow into the midfield to try and receive the ball, although Fabinho was usually quick to cover. So Chelsea used the flanks to cause damage. The fullbacks were consistently the outlet option, as Mount and Willian would push high and wide to pin the fullbacks back to create space. Zuma in particular was responsible for switching the balls to both sides, attempting the most long balls for the team. So if the ball was switched to them in deeper regions, they would instantly have the 2 vs 1 here and try to take advantage of it. But this could be even more dangerous when Mount moved infield into the half space early, allowing Alonso space high on the flank where he could advance and get the cross in. We see shades of this in Giroud's goal. The ball is moved to the centre, and this time it's Alonso in the half space drawing Trent and freeing up the space for Mount to cross, and the goal comes from this. But Chelsea also tended to overload the left-hand side when they could, particularly in the second half when they altered their front three. This dragged Liverpool across as they had to compensate for being outnumbered in the wide region. Reece James would always maintain his width for the switch, and depending on the situation, Azpilicueta could over or underlap to support him, with Rudiger and Zuma covering his advance. Hudson-Odoi was particularly adept at making this underlapping run through the half space when he came on. If Robertson followed him, James would have the space to cross. But if he went to James, the ball could be slipped in for him to cross. As the match went on, Liverpool had to shift from the 4-3-3 to a flatter 4-5-1 to try and even things up in the wide regions. But how about Liverpool? What were they doing in possession? Liverpool of course also looked to play out from deep, with Alisson to the centre-backs. In this phase, they would build up with just Gomez and Van Dijk, with the full-backs advancing higher because early on in the game, Chelsea didn't press high. However, when they were chasing the game, Chelsea began to press both centre-backs with the winger tucking in narrow to assist. Liverpool would then look to counter this by shifting to a back three, usually Robertson dropping deep. Before they were chasing the game, Kovacic and Jorginho generally didn't follow Fabinho and Keita deep when they formed a double pivot, as they didn't want to open up any space here for Firmino. But their hand was forced when they had to press when chasing the game, and as a result, Firmino began to find space to operate in more often in these regions, although Zuma was always sure to follow him deep. But Liverpool used another interesting mechanism. As Chelsea's wide centre-backs were essentially man-to-man with the wide forwards, Mane in particular often came into the deep regions to draw them deeper in the pitch. Keita and Wijnaldum on their respective sides were always ready to make the move into the space to try and receive the ball when Chelsea's line was higher, and at times they did receive it. But Liverpool also used a switch of play effectively, particularly to the right-hand side. Salah would initially look to hug the touchline, which would create space in the midfield, because as Chelsea were a man light in the middle, both pivots tended to go wide to compensate. Trent, rather than go wide as usual, tended to move infield more often, so when he received the ball in the half space, if he played it wide, Salah would be 1 versus 1 and subsequently tried to drive infield, which he had success with at times. Now, Chelsea will need to pick up at least a point on the final day of the season to ensure the Champions League slot. But as always, not every tactic could be covered, so drop anything else you noticed down in the comments below. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.